We give you 100K USD recommendations today from now that we just ordered our lunch until the time the lunch arrives. Okay. So we might have like 5 minutes to make you rich.
Okay, perfect. I think he just summarized the video. So this video is completely unplanned. We just came out to buy a whiteboard for recording the new course. He's my friend Carlo. And to be honest with you, he actually is not a marketer by profession. He is a business owner, but he figured out marketing for his business. First time we met, he was like, "Man, you do marketing for bread and butter. Can you have a look at my marketing stack and all?" When I was looking, I was like, "No way, you're not a marketer." Honestly, that was like my experience. I'm like, "No way, you're not a marketer."
Okay. Stop, sugar, like, how do you say?
No, I'm not.
Sugar coating.
No.
Let's
Because
just give the value to the people.
I want the people to understand that how valuable this is going to be. Okay, so I
Thank you, man.
take a lot of advice from him. So we're sitting here. I was like, whatever I have heard from Carlo in bits and pieces, I'll just try to make a video, and he'll just give all the stuff. Okay, which I was really impressed at. So Carlo, can you just introduce a bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah. We sell Italian courses. So we teach Italian. It's high ticket, and our focus is US, especially retired people or people over 50. 50-year-olds and older. I have also a big organic presence. So I have around 700,000 organic followers if you sum up YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so on. But about 9 months ago, I started to run ads. And actually, for the courses that we sell now, these revenues that I showed you and the business we talked about, it's all coming from ads.
And I'll just link all his channels in the description if you want to check out. But there's a lot of interesting stuff coming out. Like, for example, the lessons he learned, some of them were high impact lessons. But we're going to talk about that. But before, I want you to hear about his overall strategy. So, Carlo, tell me one thing. For your business, and now you help your friends and acquaintances as well, like as marketing advice, how do you approach a particular business marketing? Where does it start? Can you just give us the steps?
For me, it's super easy. I just think about my avatar. I think about a person who has a problem. I need to figure out a problem because otherwise this person will never be willing to make a change, such as making a good investment, right? So I think about my avatar. I understand exactly what the problems of this avatar are. I try to enter in his brain or in their brain.
Would you give an example of someone you helped or your own business if you're comfortable? Like what when you say avatar, what is it exactly and how did you approach it?
In my case, as I sell Italian courses in the US, I start from the information that in the US there are about 70 million people who are Italian descendants. Now, these people, they most likely don't speak English, or I mean, the situation is that they normally don't speak English because when their grandparents migrated to the US, Italians were, I'd say, they were not pretty well seen, okay? So those grandparents, they were hiding the fact that they were Italian, and they were also hiding the language to their kids. So those kids were forced to learn English, and they basically forgot the language. Now, in the last 100 years, Italians completely changed their perception in the US. So now everyone loves Italy, everyone wants to learn Italian language and so on. And we have about 70 million people who are Italian descendants and don't speak the language. And now they want to finally learn the language, travel to Italy, buy a house in Italy and so on. So that's the problem they have. They want to buy a house in Italy, they have the money to do so, but when they go to Italy, they are just outsiders. They are just tourists, and Italians perceive them as, okay, there he goes, another American, another tourist more. And they hate that. They want to feel like they're part of Italy because they're actually Italian descendants.
See, I want you to understand one thing here. That is an avatar. An avatar is not 22 to 34 male, high spender male. Now, I'll briefly tell you, Carlo initially tested targeting many countries, all the people who want to learn Italian. It was his avatar. Then he realized, I need to target them. Now his campaigns only go to US. Only target US because that's his avatar. It's not 20 to 25 male or female or whatever interested in this. That is what an avatar is. It's a situation.
For me, it was really a journey. As you said, in the beginning, I was running funnels in Portuguese, in Spanish, in English, and in Italian for people who already knew some basic Italian. It was a mess, of course, like a lot of work doing all the marketing in different languages. And in the end, I had to kind of optimize my funnel based on where the majority of the revenues and the profit were coming. So I saw that US was in the end the highest risk market because the ads were crazy expensive, but it's also the people who love Italy the most. They actually have a chance to go to Italy and travel a lot, especially the retired people. That's also another thing that I learned just by failing many times. The age thing, I tried to serve everyone in the beginning, but then I saw, okay, the best customers that I have at this point are the retired people. Let's just optimize around them. Let's just try to ignore all the rest. And if like a younger person comes to my through my funnel and they still want to buy, I will treat them more as an outlier. I will still serve them, but my whole marketing is now focused on my top customers, and then I just optimize, fail and optimize, fail and optimize.
This is the other lesson. When you decide on any part of the strategy, like avatar, it's not that you fix it once and then, okay, ads, this ad is working, this is not working. You need to go back and fix your avatar. And now we move to the second step, which is probably the offer, right? Which is the most important thing. And I want you to pay attention because Carlo will explain what offer he started with and how did he change his offer entirely, and it changed the whole game. That was one of the most pivotal moments in his journey.
Okay. To give you guys a short answer, initially I was running only low ticket products, so just video courses and so on. Then one day I just flipped and started to charge like 20 times what I was charging before. And that's where I saw all the people getting interested in my products. And
What was
but
low
anyway,
ticket and high ticket?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, in the beginning, I was just selling membership for $20 a month,
And what was the high ticket later?
2K all up front. And then I understood that actually, when I was selling the $20 a month membership, people were asking me, "Oh, isn't that for free, or do we really have to pay for that?"
And refunds.
And they were asking me for refunds, exactly, because I was targeting the wrong avatars. Also, price is one of the key factors that define your avatar. But anyway, in terms of process now, for you,
I just want to add a point here. One more thing, one key takeaway here is because Carlo now is running ads at a bigger scale at probably 3x ROAS. Okay. So, what I'm trying to explain is one key takeaway here is you cannot always fix all the problems with just marketing. Sometimes it might be the offer. In this case, no matter what ads, AI, whatever he had used, wouldn't have worked. It was the offer. So that's the other key takeaway before we move to the next point.
yeah. So the way you should create an offer, guys, is you first understand your avatar. Second, you understand the pain points. You need a pain or you need a fear of future pains. Those are the only two drivers that will actually incentivize the avatar to make a change. Is it recording? Okay. And by the way, we're going to close the video soon because now our shawarma, Palestinian shawarma arrived. So, and then I want to eat it warm. But anyway, after you understand all the pains of your avatar, you can also list them down. It will take a lot of time. That's actually the most difficult part of the process, because if you just do a surface level research on ChatGPT, you will get like the basic pains that everyone already knows. So one thing that I did a lot, also when I was selling the low ticket membership, I was talking a lot to the people, jumping into calls with them. It was highly unprofitable. I was wasting so many hours talking to these low ticket leads, but at least I was seeing myself firsthand, the complaints they had, the objections they had, the questions they had, and that helped me later on to just optimize my offer. But after you fully understand the psychology of your avatar, the problems they have, and the fear of future pains they have, then you can think about crazy solutions for all those pain points. Short-term solutions and long-term solutions, like you end up with a huge Excel with all the solutions that you could implement. Some of them will be just too crazy or too unprofitable for you. Some of them, if you think about them, you could even find very accessible ways or cheap ways. I wanted to find a good synonym for cheap, but I'm a specialist of Italian, not really of English. But anyway, so you can find really cheap way to solve those problems, and you end up with like a golden egg, because you can have something that has a super high perceived value for your customer, but maybe for you it's rather cheap to implement. So that's something you can think about. But in the end, you just list all the solutions that are possible for your avatar, regardless of what is the cost for you, and then you just can pick. The combination of those solutions will be your offer. Don't stick only to the main service that you have, because if you do so, you have the risk to be seen as a commodity, because people will just be able to compare you with all the other service providers if you just offer one thing. But if you can bundle your service with other things that maybe you don't directly offer, but you know people that offer them, right? And you can put as a bonus into your package, then you will create something unique that actually your avatar will perceive as a unique solution for their problem, rather than, yeah, you pay me $20 an hour for this service. Okay. Now I was going a little bit broad, but let me bite my shawarma. You can talk a little bit.
Yeah. So I have so I understand Carlo's business, so I can probably do justice in explaining, giving an example what he meant. The thing he sells is he didn't want to go in the direction of, okay, you know what, we I charge you $17 per hour and you have a personal trainer to teach you Italian. No. He added stuff for him that was not that expensive, but it's perceived as high value, which is like a community. So he has a strong community. And they're even going to arrange some tours now because they want to travel together to Italy. And this was possible for him, having a community, letting people be part of the community, like minded people who are in the same journey. These kind of things is what he was referring to. Now, it's very interesting. The most interesting part about this journey is about knowing that, okay, when she does marketing in the platform, shows ads, he generates leads. What does happen to those leads? What are the tactics his team uses to basically close the calls and pricing psychology, etc.? That's the most interesting part. But right now we'll have to end the video here. But if you want that, we can arrange that. And just leave in the comments if you want to know more. But that's the most interesting part. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.